One thing I will say that you haven't covered, 2 days ago, a highly respected judge in the Southern District of New York in Manhattan came out with a decision on the whole Russia hoax, and he said exactly that. It's a hoax. You ought to read the decision. This is a decision by a judge who's highly respected, who was appointed by Bill Clinton when he was president, and he came out and he said it's a hoax. And that's exactly what it is. This was a case brought by the Democrats against me, and nobody wants to talk about it. You know why? Because it's fake news.
On this episode of Just Informed Talk, we're going to take a look at new reports coming out, which seem to give us a clear idea of which documents, once declassified, will show beyond a reasonable doubt that not only was the Russia collusion investigation a hoax perpetrated against the president in an attempt to overthrow him, but that the Clintons were behind it with the Obama administration. So you guys are going to want to stick around and check out that and a whole bunch of other breaking news stories. Enjoy. Hey guys, if you're going to be in Miami this October 10th through 12th and you want to check out an incredible event with people like Donald Trump Jr., Sarah Sanders, Charlie Kirk, Jason Chaffetz, Matt Gaetz, and many others, I encourage you to check out the link in the description for the American Priority Conference in Miami. Now, this is going to be an incredible event. We're going to have a charity golf tournament. We're going to have a charity poker tournament. We're going to have a bunch of different guest speakers, including some really important people. So I really think you guys should go check out the link in the description and sign up and come meet me down in Florida this October 10th through 12th in Miami at Trump National at Doral on the Blue Monster, for those of you who know golf. And we're going to have a great time. Again, special speakers include Donald Trump Jr. and Sarah Sanders and many others. So I encourage you all to check that out, and I hope to see you there. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. As always, you guys know the drill. Thank you to everyone who's hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, please come here to the landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you get notified when these videos get posted. Today, we're going to be covering the latest Q post, but I should say the latest news post, because Q has not been posting. This is where we left off, Q post 3570 on August 1st, and we're expecting the 8chan boards to be back up sometime after September 5th, which means we could expect to see Q come back at that point. Now, with that in mind, we have a lot to cover here today. We're going to talk about some incredible stories, including a more deep dive into the 10 documents that need to be declassified to show beyond a reasonable doubt that Obama's administration was pushing for the illegal spying of President Trump's campaign and subsequently his transition process, and then the setup of the Russia collusion hoax so that they could have an investigation against President Trump to try to unseat a duly elected president in what can only be described as a soft coup attempt. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about other big stories in the news that have a big impact on our day-to-day lives that I want to share with you guys. So with that, let's always go back here. I want to remind you guys, come here, watch these videos, share them on your social media, get the word out that way, and watch this video. If you don't know what QAnon, the Great Awakening is, watch that video, share that as well. The only reason I always say this is, look, we have at this point verifiable proof from many different whistleblowers from inside of Google that Google has a political agenda and a political bias. They enact that political agenda and political bias against conservatives and Christians by using this subliminal algorithmic suppression, which is something that you can't even see happening. It's a suppression of content by limiting search results. It's a suppression of content by limiting suggested videos. It's a suppression of content by effectively becoming a publisher and editorializing the results that are given to you, the viewer. And that in and of itself is a violation of their agreement in Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. But nobody seems to want to do anything about it. Hopefully the DOJ's antitrust probe is going well. Hopefully Google hasn't bought and paid for too many members of that investigation so that we can actually have some sort of justice against this company who is obviously trying to distort our political process by implanting their own political biases on top of the American people. And as we're going to talk about in this video, we have President Trump citing Dr. Epstein, not Jeffrey Epstein, another Dr. Epstein, who is one of the previous Hillary Clinton supporter, who came out and said that it is beyond a reasonable doubt that, according to his studies, Google manipulated in the 6 months running up to the 2016 election, manipulated 2 to 10 million people to vote for Hillary Clinton, and it's only going to be worse in 2020. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. So look, that's why I ask you guys to share these videos and get the word out that way, because it's how we beat the suppression that is being put forth by Google. Let's start with that. Facebook releasing interim findings of a political bias review. Oh, well, this sounds really great. You know, they did an internal investigation trying to get a really independent audit of themselves to see if they're politically biased, which, you know, obviously they aren't, because they're not completely violating people's rights by removing them from the conversation, violating the First Amendment rights, and acting as authoritarian fascists of the internet age. No, they're not doing that at all. Except for the fact that they actually hired Eric Holder, the former Attorney General under Barack Obama's law firm, to do this independent audit. Well, I wonder if they're going to find a bias if they are literally connected to the former Obama administration's top official. Oh, I'm sure it's going to be independent. Yeah, okay. These people are sick, sadistic, twisted, evil liars. And they are the ones who are trying to manipulate this world to fit their agenda, because they would love nothing more than to destroy the United States as it stands and have some sort of global government come into play where they could become even more rich and have more power. That's all they care about. They care about controlling you and turning you into a slave. Mark Zuckerberg wants slaves. He doesn't want people socially connecting on his platform. He wants a platform that he can use to manipulate the masses and put them into a form of digital slavery. And they're doing a great job at it. Because if you look at these other stories, social media now is reconsidering its relationship with the truth, according to this Axios article. This is literally now the latest. It says, now the companies are considering a fundamental shift with profound social and political implications, deciding what is true and what is false. Oh, this is great. This can never go wrong. This can never be used to manipulate the masses and try to attack the truth by having some social media Silicon Valley SJW liberal extreme leftists telling me what the truth is in my home and everyone else across the world. These people are authoritarian fascists who want to destroy your First Amendment rights. And if they could, they would lobby to take away your Second Amendment, your Fourth Amendment, and every other right that we have as Americans that separates us from every other person in the world. I mean, you really are getting to the point now with Facebook becoming the arbiter of truth. This is Orwell's 1984 in the flesh. There is nothing more terrifying or Orwellian than a big tech Silicon Valley company trying to tell me that they're going to become the arbiters of what's true and what's false. I mean, you got to understand. And now they keep harping on AI video or audio deepfakes. What if they're not deepfakes? What if a video gets put on Facebook of somebody, a very popular politician or celebrity or corporate leader doing some very evil things, right? And then they go, oh, well, that's just a deep fake, obviously. But is it? Well, I guess if Facebook's the arbiter of truth, they'll shut it down, they'll remove the video, nobody will ever see it. So given the fact that those of you who've been following the Q movement for long enough know the information we continue to uncover about these people gets worse and worse and worse every day. First, it was Nexium, Allison Mack, sex trafficking, sex slaves. Then it got into Epstein, and then more sex trafficking and more sex slave. And then we have celebrities connected to Epstein hanging out on his island, where we have underground tunnels allegedly that may or may not have had facilities that were used for some sort of occult ritualism that may have included occult ritual abuse and occult ritual sacrifice of humans. I mean, it's a question that we can ask, right? And they want to shut down your ability to even ask that question, because they're going to label you as fake news. They're going to say that you're untruthful and that you need to be destroyed. And they're going to do it with their AI. It's not going to be somebody sitting in a room doing it. They're just going to keep programming their algorithms to attack us further and further and further and remove more and more of the truth from you and me. And they're going to remove more of the ability, more and more of our ability to ask questions, because they don't want you to ask questions. They want you to believe what they tell you is true. When the people running these companies are the most sick, corrupt, evil, twisted people in existence, they want to tell you that they are the arbiters of truth. They're the biggest liars, the most corrupt liars in the history of technology, let's say, and they want to be the arbiters of truth. It's disgusting. It's really Orwellian. It's a dystopia that we are sliding right into perfectly because these companies are too powerful. We need to break up Facebook. We need to break up Google. We need to break up Twitter. We need to break them all up into 1,000 pieces. I don't care. Shatter them. Just like JFK was going to do the CIA, let's shatter them and scatter their ashes into the wind, because they are becoming the modern day technological slave masters. Okay? And we need to remove their ability to control the way we think. They're perfecting out techniques. And if you read the documents that were leaked by Project Veritas from Google, they're doing socio-psychological research into how to manipulate you into accepting your enslavement. And if you don't believe me, go to Project Veritas, download the documents, read them for yourselves. That's exactly what they're doing, and they're lying to your face. And the majority of people are just la 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 la, absolutely no idea what's going on. And you have me over here screaming at the top of my lungs about this happening in plain sight, and everybody's just acting like it's okay because half of Congress is bought and paid for by these social media companies with their lobbyists. So you see the conundrum that we're facing here. I wonder how many people in the DOJ's antitrust probe have some relation to people who are related to Google in other facets, whether it's employees or relationships with lobbyists. I would love to look at that. Sorry, this is just, it gets worse and worse and worse. And of course, we have all of these new stories coming out. Seeing is believing. Fake news may lead to false memories. Well, yeah. Why don't we do like CNN and MSNBC? The fake news that CNN and MSNBC put on the air every single day, not according to this article. It says the stuff posted on social media. No. How about the stuff on mainstream media? MSNBC, CNN. How about NBC, ABC, CBS? How about the fake news lies that they spread every single day, which were legalized by the Obama administration? Never forget that. They legalized propagandizing the American people, so they are legally allowed to lie to you and tell you fake news and tell you lies to mislead you. They do that every single day. That leads to false memories because people go, oh, I saw it on NBC. It must be true. No. No. These people are sick and twisted, and they want to destroy this country, simply put. Here we go. Dr. Robert Epstein went on a Twitter storm, quote unquote. I feel kind of bad for the guy because he doesn't even know how to link tweets to make a thread, but that's fine. Neither here nor there. He claims to be an expert on Google, which is a different thing. He's been doing all this research. And so basically, he's had this thing where he was in front of Congress giving testimony. It was a clip with Ted Cruz and him, and I'm going to play this clip right now.
Because it's a black box with no transparency or accountability whatsoever. Am I understanding you correctly?
Senator, with respect, I must correct you.
Please.
If Mark Zuckerberg chooses to send out a go vote reminder just to Democrats on Election Day, that doesn't cost him a dime.
Fair enough. Do you happen to know who the Hillary Clinton campaign's #1 financial supporter was in the year 2016?
I think I do, but please remind me.
The #1 financial supporter of the Hillary Clinton campaign in the 2016 election was the parent company of Google, Alphabet, who was our first witness. They were her #1 financial donor, and your testimony is, through their deceptive search methods, they moved 2.6 million votes in her direction. I would think anybody, whether or not you favor one candidate or another, should be deeply dismayed about a handful of Silicon Valley billionaires having that much power over our elections to silently and deceptively shift vote outcomes.
Again, with respect, I must correct you. The 2.6 million is a rock bottom minimum. The range is between 2.6 and 10.4 million, depending on how aggressively they used the techniques that I've been studying now for 6.5 years.
Wow. Could you just say that again, please? Just
The 2.6 million is a rock bottom minimum. The range is between 2.6 and 10.4 million votes, depending on how aggressive they were in using the techniques that I've been studying, such as the search engine manipulation effect, the search suggestion effect, the answer bot effect, and a number of others. They control these, and no one can counteract them. These are not competitive. These are tools that they have at their disposal exclusively.
So there you go. That clip shows you how big tech can manipulate the masses so easily. It's incredible how, like he said there, you saw Dr. Robert Epstein say there that it doesn't cost Mark Zuckerberg anything to put out a go vote tweet to all the Democrats on Facebook that could sway elections by millions of votes. Doesn't cost Google anything to tweak their algorithm to only suggest content that's favorable to Hillary Clinton and not favorable to Donald Trump, and they can sway millions, 2 to 10 million votes in an election. So these out of control tech monopolies, which are leaning toward authoritarian fascism, have decided that they can game the political system in the United States, and they can do it without anyone even really being able to prove it. Well, now we have people coming forward from behind the scenes, whistleblowers coming forward. We also have individuals saying that they are ready to stand up and expose this for what it is, including Dr. Robert Epstein and other people, whistleblowers from Google and other major tech firms. The fact of the matter is, this is the biggest story of our lifetimes. I mean, I hate to be so dramatic about it, but because it's only going to get worse from here. You think these big tech companies are only going to get, they're going to shrink down? No, they're going to get worse and worse and worse until you're going to wake up one morning, 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, and Facebook's going to be telling you the news and telling you what the truth is, according to them. And if you even say anything wrong, you're going to be removed from their platform. They're going to take away your digital account, so you won't have any money, take away your ability to travel. It's going to be like the Chinese Communist Party. The social credit score, that's what they're building in this country. A system to control the population outside of the purview of the U.S. federal government, right? So the government, we've vested, we have a contract, a social contract. We elect officials to govern us. We don't elect Silicon Valley, yet they are imposing their will upon us every single day. And that in and of itself is exactly, exemplifies the problem at hand, right? So Hillary Clinton talking about President Trump's tweet. So President Trump came out and said about Robert Epstein's report that report just out Google manipulated between 2.6 million and 16 million voters, or it was 10.6 million, I think, for Hillary Clinton in 2016. This was put out by a Clinton supporter, not a Trump supporter. Google should be sued. My victory was even bigger than thought. Yeah, please, we should sue Google. And I guess President Trump's saying we need Judicial Watch to go sue Google because they're the ones suing everyone right now, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, then Hillary Clinton tweets to that. The debunked story you're referring to was based on 21 undecided voters. For context, that's about half the number of people associated with your campaign who have been indicted. Oh man, Hillary, do you really want to go there with indictments and crimes? I mean, this is you and your fake Russia hoax that you put together with Obama and your little cohorts against President Trump and indicted a bunch of people related to President Trump, but had nothing to do with the original investigation into this Russia collusion that you say happened. If we did this to you, if the FBI and the DOJ weren't corrupt and completely in your pocket the whole time, you'd be in jail, Hillary Clinton, you and your accomplices. Okay? So this is just, it's so rich coming from her, hearing this kind of rhetoric. I just, you have to read it for yourself. It's crazy. Now let's go down and read through his, he went on, he said he was going to go on a Twitter storm against Hillary. Okay. Well, interestingly enough, he did that, and here it is. So he starts out, this guy's like a big Hillary Clinton fan. He says, now switching to Hillary Clinton, this is going to hurt me to write because I and my whole extended family have been strong supporters of the Clintons for decades. So apparently this guy's a big time Clinton supporter. Hillary, let's read through some of his tweets. Hillary has long depended on Google for both money and votes. Her largest donor in 2016 was Alphabet Google. Her chief technology officer during the campaign was Stephanie Hannon, a former Google exec, and then Eric Schmidt, longtime head of Google, the guy in the pic. Eric Schmidt, mind you, don't ever forget, he was at the ceremony that night where if she had won, she would have been giving her acceptance speech, but it turned into the biggest cry party of SJW liberal tears I ever saw in my life. And Eric Schmidt was there ready to celebrate with his little party hat on, I'm sure, because he knew he put the fix in for her, so there's no way she could lose. They had swayed 10 million people to vote for her. How could Hillary Clinton lose? Oh, okay. Next one, a leaked email showed that in 2014, Google's Eric Schmidt offered to run Hillary's tech campaign, see PIC, in 2015. Schmidt, in fact, funded the groundwork, a highly secretive tech company, the sole purpose of which was to put Clinton into office. So we have documentable proof that Google was running Hillary Clinton's tech campaign. Great. About 96% of the 2016 campaign donations from Google employees went to Hillary Clinton, and Elon Kriegel, Hillary's chief analytics officer, credits his 2012 tech team, informally supervised by Eric Schmidt, for half of Obama's win margin. So Obama was getting the same treatment from Google too. Oh, really? This is getting really good. Dr. Epstein's just laying it out. Hillary, if my work has been debunked, why was it included in a volume just published by Oxford University? Why have I been invited to speak about it at prestigious venues worldwide? Stanford, Yale, Law, where both you and Bill went, even our Senate, where you served. Yeah, it's a good question. Hillary, I know you're in Google's pocket, but for the sake of our democracy, I urge you to listen to my recent congressional testimony and to scan the 58 essays and conference papers I list at the end of the written testimony. Hillary, if you examine my work carefully, you will find that it adheres to very high standards of scientific integrity. You also conclude, I believe, that Google poses a serious threat to free and fair elections and to human autonomy. See, and then it gives this article. Hillary, Google poses 3 serious threats to humanity. 1, an obscene level of surveillance across 200 plus platforms. 2, the power to determine what content 2+ billion can or cannot see, censorship. And 3, invisible manipulation on a massive scale. Things that I just talked about. Yes. Hillary, is that what you want your legacy to be? Whistleblowers and leaks from Google have confirmed that the company blacklists, re-ranks, and uses ephemeral experiences, which I study, to control people worldwide. Do you approve? Hillary, if big tech companies support the same candidate in 2020, they can shift 15 million votes her way without people knowing how the shift occurred. If you had a choice between preserving democracy and putting your candidate in office, which would you choose? Of course, it goes on. Hillary, among other tools, they can use ephemeral experiences, a term from a Google email that leaked to Washington Journal or Wall Street Journal in 2018, to shift votes without leaving a paper trail. Ephemeral experiences like those search results I found that were biased in your favor, Hillary Clinton. Hillary, if I haven't yet convinced you that that the tweet you sent about me yesterday was unjustified and deeply flawed, please read these recent comments on my work by Chuck Norris. He might be a lowly conservative, but he still kicks butt. And finally, Hillary, I've always admired you. Whatever. We all admire Hillary Clinton. It's just, oh, wow. And then, yeah, here's another one. This is a weird thing where he like tweets out this picture of, I can't put this one together for the life of me, but it's supposedly satire where that he was criticizing Google, and this was written back in 2014, that he was killed by one of those Google street car map cars that map the streets. But I'm not sure I get this, because you read the article and it reads really strangely. It's kind of like obviously it's a tongue-in-cheek kind of a satire piece, but yeah, I didn't really get the humor there. All right, some other news that's interesting. The Mooch has betrayed the president, and America joined the Clintons and Rothschilds at Martha's Vineyard last weekend. And I thought to myself, well, either one of two things has happened with Scaramucci. One, he's done exactly what they're saying he's done here and betrayed President Trump, or it's probably one of the most cleverly planted spies ever, because all he had to do was get on to CNN and say a few bad things about the president and have the president tweet a few bad things about him, and next thing you know, he's with the Clintons and the Rothschilds at Martha's Vineyard, getting pillow talk from Linda Rothschild and Hillary Clinton about what's going on at their secret society meetings. Yeah. You ever think of that one? Greenland fallout. Trump scolding Denmark over rejection. So this is something really hilarious. So President Trump floated the idea and saying, hey, yeah, why don't we buy Greenland? It makes perfect sense. Then Greenland's SJW woke prime minister or president, whoever comes out, leader, and says, we would never do such a thing. We're never going to sell Greenland. So President Trump does exactly what I would imagine he would do. He goes, okay, fine. Then we're not going to meet. We have nothing to talk about. You don't want to do a deal. You don't even contribute 2% to of your GDP to the NATO coalition that is protecting Europe, and you expect us to have a meeting now where you're putting terms on the table before the meeting? Yeah, Denmark, why don't you go and reevaluate where you stand in the world? Because you're not going to be playing with the big boys anytime soon. Sorry to say that. And let's not forget, thanks to a report I noticed from X22, great channel, YouTube, X22 report, go check them out, great work. Project Iceworm. This is an interesting story. Did you know that the United States Army had a program during the Cold War which was aimed to build a network of mobile nuclear missile launch sites under the Greenland ice sheet? Did you know that? I didn't know that. But I thought it was interesting that they built all these tunnels and then they shut down the program right after they said they had shifts in the ice, right? Because there was unstable ice conditions. So they canceled it in 1966. I'm sorry if I got the dates wrong earlier in the video, but remember this. If you think about what they're saying here, that means there's a bunch of tunnels all up in this area of Greenland that would be perfect hiding spots for deep state people who are trying to avoid being caught. So I just thought that was interesting. New reports coming out talking about how Obama was in on it. Counterintelligence investigations are done for the president. Obama knew about spying on Trump. Well, we already know that in this latest story with focusing on the Spygate and what's happening with John Brennan and Obama and how they all knew what was happening. Great read. You should read through it. It talks about Brennan's role, how the Russia, how it got to the FBI, the role of Joseph Mifsud obviously being involved with Western intelligence, namely the UK intelligence, how they shifted the mid-year exam, which was the Hillary Clinton email investigation, into the Trump investigation right at the exact same time that they set this unusually high threshold for prosecution of Hillary Clinton, effectively ensuring from the outset that she wouldn't be charged, claiming that the FBI had to prove intent when the law clearly states that there was no intent required. Gross negligence is gross negligence, whether you meant to do it or not. And so there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Read through this article. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but there's a lot of information here that we should be continuing to put into our mental Rolodex and save, because it all is pointing to the same thing. And then here, finally, John Solomon put out this great article, 10 declassified Russia collusion revelations that could rock Washington this fall. You can read through this article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it talks about how these different pieces of paper, once declassified, will put together the full story of how the former Obama administration sought to set up President Trump in this Russia collusion hoax. So a link to that will be in the description. You guys should go check that out for sure to look at all of the information that we are continuing to get. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and leave it there. A few more things before we go. If you guys want to help out the channel, I always tell you, come here, click the big red subscribe button, watch these videos, share them on your social media, and leave your thoughts, theories, and insights below. I want to hear what you guys have to say about all of this. A few other ways you can help the channel: be brave. Download the Brave browser. Some people have asked me, if you use the link in the description to download the Brave browser, will it actually support the channel? And the answer is yes, it will. And the interesting part is that I've talked about it. If you have Google Chrome or Windows Internet Explorer or whatever, you should be trying out the Brave browser, because what I like about it is that it blocks the ads and it makes your internet experience that much more smooth. And I just really would recommend it to everyone. And yes, if you use the link to download this in the description and then you run it, you just install it and run it just like you would Google Chrome or Internet Explorer. It's an internet browser. Then yes, it will support the channel. And I really encourage you all to go check that out. Also, come over here and find me on Twitter at JUSTINFORMED. We can have a conversation and a great time, and it's a good way to connect outside the channel. So come over here and check it out. You can get all my funny, clever, hilarious, thought-provoking tweets, and that's a cool way to connect. Also, don't forget to check out JustinformedNews.com, the official website for Just Informed Talk, where you get links to the Q stuff, different news sites, breaking news, and of course, the latest videos from the channel here. So go check out JustinformedNews.com to support the channel as well. A few other ways you can help out the channel are financially. You can come over here and find me on Patreon, patreon.com. The official page for Just Informed Talk is right here. You just come here, click this button to become a patron. It's a crowdfunding website. You set your donation. It's a monthly donation, and know you're helping create content on this channel. I've told you before, and I'll say it again, YouTube has come after my channel behind the scenes. They've demonetized almost pretty much everything, 99.99%. And they've also come after that advertising and all that stuff. So you know what? I'm 100% now funded by you guys and any outside advertisers that I can find. So your support truly does keep this channel alive. So thank you so much for coming here and contributing. You guys are what make a difference. Also, I have a GoFundMe set up. If you want to make a one-time or anonymous donation, thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody who contributes. You guys are what keep this channel alive. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a second here to do what we do at the end of every one of these episodes called God's Grace is Greater. It's a segment we do where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. And, well, I want to talk about something today that I think is an important message to share. And this is talking about, it's out of the book of James. It's chapter 3, verse 13 through 18. And it's talking about wisdom from above. And I'll tie this all together when I'm done reading this verse. It says, who is wise... Who is wise and understanding among you? He should show his works by good conduct with wisdom's gentleness. But if you have bitter envy and selfish ambition in your heart, don't brag and lie in defiance of the truth. Such wisdom does not come down from above, but is earthly, sensual, demonic. For where envy and selfish ambition exist, there is disorder and every kind of evil. But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peace-loving, gentle, compliant, full of mercy and good fruits, without favoritism and hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. Now, what does that mean? Well, to me, when I read those words, it reminds me that we should only seek the wisdom that comes from above. If we're driven by the ambitions and the selfishness and the envy that comes in this world that we live in, then we're only falling victim to the traps that have been set by the devil before us. We have to look beyond that. We have to remember that the wisdom that we get from above is pure. It's peace-loving, gentle, compliant, full of mercy and good fruits. And that's the wisdom that we should be seeking, not the wisdom of this world, God's wisdom. And that's what I call each and every one of you to do as we stand up against such great evil and such great adversity and tribulation. Remember, God above is with us, and the wisdom that we should seek is His, not ours of this world. And that's what we need to push with each other, whether it's your family, your friends, your coworkers, your spouse, whoever. Share that with them, and even strangers you meet, and just having a conversation. Tell them about God's wisdom. Talk to them about the grace that we get from God, how the Holy Spirit lives in each and every one of us, how Jesus died on the cross for our sins, and see how you can light a spark in their heart. And that's what we're called to do by God. So that's where I want you guys to go out into the world and make a difference. And that's where I'm going to go ahead and leave it. I want to say thank you guys for watching again. Come here, click the big red subscribe button if you haven't. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. And don't forget to hit it, punch it, headbutt it, tap it, elbow it, whatever, flick it, hit the like button if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. But that's going to be it for me. I want to say thanks for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.